Hey, this is Life with Shauna Renee here, back with another video. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This video is called Part 2 of Another Date Gone Wrong. Let's watch the video.
This is part 2 of my bad date story time. If you haven't seen part 1, go watch part 1. So at this point, he was like, I don't want to play Connect 4 anymore. Let's play a different game. So I was like, okay, I picked out Connect 4. How about you pick out the second game? He picks out this game, and it's called Incoherent. And I'm sure you guys have seen it online. It's like a card game. And on one side of the card, there's like a string of gibberish words. And on the other side of the card, there's like a word or phrase that you're supposed to like guess what the gibberish words mean. If you don't understand my explanation, go look it up. I pick a card out of the pile for him to guess. And I look at the back side saying what the phrase is. And the phrase that I picked out, I don't know if I can say it on here. It was inappropriate, basically. It was inappropriate and it was disgusting. So I said, ew, no. I put it back in the pile and I picked a new one for him to guess. Because I didn't want to be like talking about gross, inappropriate shit on a first date. So he takes his turn and then it's his turn to pick out a card for me and have me guess it. He takes a card out of the pile and I'm looking at the gibberish. I'm sounding it out in my head. I'm like, no fucking way did he pick this card. So I put the card back in the pile and I look at him and I'm like, are you fucking serious? He was like, what? What was it? What was the phrase? What was the word? It was golden showers. Why the fuck are we talking about golden showers on a first date? And he's like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Since he's been like a fucking asshole the whole date, like I think he's joking. He genuinely didn't know what it was. So it's his turn. I pick him out a card, an appropriate card, and he's like, wait, I want to look that up. I want to Google that. And I'm like, please don't. Like, please do not do that. I don't need a man sitting in front of me Googling what the fuck a golden shower is. Ew. And he goes, and he does it anyways. And then, not only that, but he turns to me and he goes, wait, how do you know what that is? Like, insinuating that, like, I'm some sort of crazy freak-ass bitch. I'm like, honestly, I probably learned about it from the R. Kelly documentary. He decides he doesn't want to play Incoherent anymore. I'm like, that's fine. We don't have to play another game, because I'm, like, slowly trying to wrap it up, slowly trying to make my exit. He then brings up my Instagram, which I talked about this a little bit in my Get Ready With Me for the date. He was really pressed about trying to like get my Instagram from me, and I told him that giving men who are interested in me my Instagram makes me really anxious, so I didn't give it to him. He was like pressing me about this a little bit, and I was like, yeah, it just makes me anxious and it makes me like overthink what I'm posting. And so he was like, oh, well, how many followers do you have? Like, how many people are you like worried about posting for? It's like him like kind of being insecure, kind of being jealous, kind of trying to like gauge his competition. And I just like really did not like the energy of that. At this point in the night, I was trying to get the fuck out of there. This man drove to the date, and I knew in his head he was thinking he was gonna drive me home and he was gonna like try some shit, even though he didn't offer to pick me up on the way to the date. And so I made a comment saying that I was planning to take the metro home. I was also talking about how White Lotus started at 9 o'clock. I should probably go soon. I want to see the new episode of White Lotus. And he was like, oh, well, if you take the metro home, like, you wouldn't get home in time for the new episode of White Lotus. The only time that we would get back in time is if I drove you. And I was like, we? Who the fuck is we? I didn't invite you. The Oscars were on during all of this, and he had said something earlier in the night about Timothée Chalamet, and so I pointed out to him, I was like, there's Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner. His immediate reaction was, oh, I like her sister better. What's her sister's name? No one fucking asked you. No one asked you your opinion on the Kar Jenners. I was like, oh, which sister? I started listing them out. He was like, Kendall. Hate that. I personally have nothing against Kendall Jenner. However, anytime a man says their favorite Kardashian or Jenner is Kendall Jenner, it is just because there is the least amount of information public about her and they can project whatever the fuck they want onto her, and also she's the skinniest. Obviously at this point in the night, like, I was not into him at all, but he was very clearly still trying to take me home. I have always been more of a Kylie than a Kendall. Why the fuck are you telling me you like the sister that is the least like me when you are trying to hit on me, take me home, get your way with me? So me being over all of this shit. I turn to him and I go, oh, so you like skinny girls? He immediately starts like backtracking. He's like, no, like her face is just like scientifically, like objectively the most attractive. And I'm like, that's bullshit. But I don't say that because I'm like, I'm not fighting with a man over the Kardashians. After I said the thing about Kendall being skinny, he was like, yeah, well, she's my favorite, but I have some critiques. Like, she could stand to gain a little weight. If Kylie's your favorite, what are your critiques? And in my head, I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and critique two of the most successful, beautiful women in the world. If they're not good enough, no one is, and you are just sexist and hate women. And then he started saying, oh, well, I'm only familiar with Kylie because of who she dates and who she goes out with. It's very Kim Kardashian-esque versus Kendall. Like, I know her as a model. Like, she's more like Gigi Hadid. That was the point where I was like, bro, what the fuck? Listen, I am not like a ride or die Kardashian fan. I have my many problems with them. However, I feel like a lot of people use the Kardashians just to take out their misogyny in a socially appropriate manner. And that was just the final straw for me. I am not Kylie Jenner's biggest fan, but she is a billionaire. She owns multiple companies. If you only know her by who she has dated, that is your problem and not her problem. And it was giving very like misogynistic, like slut shaming. So I just stopped speaking. He was like, oh, like you're being really quiet, like you seem like upset, like what's up, what's going on, like tell me like what you're thinking. And I was like, honestly, I don't agree with what you're saying and I think it's misogynistic. And he was like, well, I don't think I said anything offensive, like what did I say wrong, like teach me, like this could be a learning experience. And I said, it's not my job to teach you things. I said, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. It's been nice getting to know you, but we are very clearly different on a lot of values, and I think I'm gonna go home now. He tried to get me to stay. He was like, we're just starting to like chit chat. Like, I feel like there's like chemistry building up. I showed him what time it was on the home screen on my phone. I looked him in the eyes. I said, I think we've chit chatted long enough. I'm going home. I grabbed my jacket and I walked the fuck out of that bar. Like I should have done probably 2 hours before. Also, during the conversation where he was asking me about my Instagram, he asked if I ever posted on TikTok. I was like, what? No, I've never posted on TikTok. Clearly lying, so I have a feeling he's gonna look me up on TikTok now. So if you see this, fuck you. Anyways, that was my bad date story time. I'm gonna go sleep for 12 hours to de-stress. I love you all. Bye.
Like I said in part 1, when you start kissing on somebody at the beginning of getting to know somebody, he automatically thought that you was for the streets. If you were to go in there without kissing him, he would have probably took you a little bit more seriously. But because you were kissing him, he took it as if, oh, you just want to have a good time, if you catch my drift. You got to do better. If you want to date somebody, you got to hold off on kissing somebody before you think that, you know what I'm saying? Because you could clearly tell that he just wanted to have a good time. What do y'all think about this video? You know what to do. Comment below. This is Life with Shawn Renee. And I'm out. Bye.